Hi guys, and welcome to Modding Fallout 3 Part 3. Now in this video I'm going to be showing you how to alter the weather and the light in the Capital Wasteland. And the reason I'm doing this is because if you play the game, the default game, you will notice that when outside there is always this slight green tint to everything. A slight dusty green tint to the air in general. And I guess the developers thought this would give the world a slightly radioactive look, and some people do in fact like it. So if you do like it, I am going to show you some alternatives. But I'm not that keen on it. I am going to install a mod called Fallout, and this mod is going to clean up the air. The air is going to look a little clearer, a little crisper. The sky is going to look a little bluer, and generally the light to me looks a lot more realistic, and also a lot nicer to look at. Now, Fallout also makes the nights darker. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but the nighttime in Fallout 3 is pretty much as light as the daytime. You can see off in the distance, you can see perfectly clearly, there's absolutely no visibility problems. And Fallout changes this and makes the dark something to be worried about. Definitely makes it a lot more of an intense game to play. I'm also going to be installing the enhanced weather mod, which adds rain and snow to the game, which doesn't actually exist. So that'll make things a little bit more varied when playing. It gives a slight feeling of realism as well. Now there are some alternative mods, and I will briefly cover those as well. There is the dynamic weather mod, and again that adds weather, but it tries to keep slightly more true to the Bethesda vision, as he says in the description. I'm also going to cover a fairly new weather mod called F3 Project Reality, and this is a mod that I've used in Fallout New Vegas, and I've not really seen it much in Fallout 3, but it's definitely worth looking at. So we're going to have a brief look at that. Now, to start with, we're going to install Fallout and the enhanced weather mod. So go along to Fallout. I'm going to go to the files and the main file, download with manager. Now, I am actually using DLC, so I'm going to need the optional file. I'm going to wait till Nexus Mod Manager has started. I am going to need the DLC support, and there is a fix, a Fallout 1.2.3, so I think I will take that as well. Ooh. So I'm downloading 3 files, the main file, an update file, and the DLC support. Now these are fairly small mods, so they'll install fairly quickly. So go along to your mods tab, go to Fallout 1_21R2 and activate. Click OK. Then activate the patch. Now it is click no here. This is you're going to install the mod normally, so click no. And then it asks you whether you wish to overwrite some files. Yes, you wish to overwrite files. Yes to all. And finally, the DLC support. Again, even though it's finding a different version of the Fallout mod, this is because it's multiple files. You'll get used to this. You want to select no will install the new mod normally, so no. And if it had have asked for overwrite, we would have clicked yes, but it didn't. And that's it. The mod is actually installed. And for load order, I'm going to leave them at the end at the moment. So we've got Fallout full plus all the DLC. Now, as soon as you start the game up, you're going to notice a difference immediately. The air is clearer, visibility is a little different, the sky has a blue tinge to it, and sunrises really are very, very impressive. Now at night time, you're going to notice an immediate difference. As you can see, there's very little visibility at all here. If I look around, you can see things with the lights, and there is a certain amount of ambient light. You can walk down the street, you can see the road, and you can even see the buildings, but there could be very easily someone hidden quite easily in the darkness, actually. And so it makes the game a lot more intense and a lot scarier. So now we're going to add some weather. So you go along to the enhanced weather page and go to the file section. you might as well pick the one that is FOMod package ready. Download with Manager. And Nexus Mod Manager starts up and starts to download. Now once that has downloaded, you can activate it and you get a little installer. The first two options you have no choice on. The radioactive rain and snow plugin, that makes rain radioactive, which makes the game a lot tougher. But I have found some problems for me, and I know a few other people have, where you just get radioactive for no apparent reason. So I'm actually, generally, I deselect this one. The sneak bonus I leave on, and the weather sounds I leave on. You can actually have the no pitch black nights if you really don't like the dark nights, but I don't know how this stacks with the Fallout mod. I know the Fallout mod makes the nights very dark. I think this one does as well if you have by default, and you can turn it off. However, with Fallout, we're going for dark nights anyway, so that's the options I'm picking. And then install. Now yes to all, basically it's overwriting some files that Fallout put in. And then double check your plugins have been selected. The enhanced weather, rain and snow ESM, I'm going to put that above. No, I'm going to leave it where it is actually for now. The ESPs, on the other hand, I'm going to move above Fallout. Basically, the ones that come last will win any fight. So if there are any conflicts, Fallout will dominate the enhanced weather mod. Don't worry about it. I'm going to explain that a lot better and with a lot more detail in another video. But for now, that's the load order I suggest. Enhanced weather and then Fallout. But that's it. You've installed it. Now, when you first enter the game, you may not notice any difference. Of course, weather takes time to activate. However, after only a very brief wait, I got some rain. So as you can see, the sky's gone a little grayer. Sounds of light rain, and you can see a few raindrops. Let's wait a little longer, perhaps. See if it gets any harder. There we go. Harder rain. And with lightning. So as you can see, this definitely changes things in the wasteland. A nice storm. Now it may have some effect on your performance, the rain. The rain is quite demanding. So if you do find it's pushing your system a little more than you're happy with, you can of course uninstall it. But honestly, if your system can handle it, I recommend it. It definitely makes the game a lot more fun. Now I mentioned an alternative, which was the dynamic weather mod, and as you can see it still looks very similar to the original Bethesda feel. Still that slight green tint on everything. But as you can see, the darkness is pretty intense. So the daytimes look just like the original game, but the night times, well, they're probably even darker than Fallout. It really is dark. Now it does have weather patterns, including rain and sandstorms, which is kind of cool. But I haven't tried this mod for any length of time, so I'm not going to show you in this video. I just wanted you to be aware that there are alternatives to the mods that I've shown you to install. And there is another alternative called Fallout 3 Project Reality. Now I used this mod in Fallout New Vegas and it is incredible, and as you can see, it has a very different feel to it. The green tint has gone, but I always found this mod in Fallout New Vegas had a very desaturated look about it, even though sometimes it was amazingly colourful. And there's some great sun glares, as you can see. I'm not sure if you can see on the video. Great sun glare from that horizon. Now both Dynamic Weather and Project Reality are a single file, but the Dynamic Weather mod requires a lot of actual manual work, so I'm not going to cover that in this particular video. I will cover that in a later video. But Project Reality is a single file that you can download with Manager, so that's fairly easy to try out. Installation of Project Reality basically is Activate, but you need to remember to uninstall Fallout before you do that, if you've already installed that. So if you have installed Fallout, make sure you deactivate and do the same for the enhanced weather. So once those are deactivated, you can activate that and then try out Project Reality. And that's it. It's fairly easy to install it, of course, because everything's in one file. There's only one ESP. So that's one advantage to Project Reality over the Fallout and enhanced weather combination. One file. Little easier on your load order. But Project Reality always makes me feel like I really am playing a nuclear survival game. Sort of, I'm living after a Holocaust. It really does give that sort of feeling. This mod does have a full range of weather, including rain, snow, and even sandstorms, I believe, if it's similar to Fallout New Vegas. And they're very well done, very atmospheric skies. One of the really cool features about Project Reality is the heat shimmer. If you go somewhere where it is very, very warm, you will see heat shimmer off in the distance. It sort of comes in and out. It's not perfect, but it's definitely very interesting. Makes everything feel very warm indeed. Now, Project Reality is actually controllable. If you go to your Pip-Boy under Apparel, you'll find a Project Reality MK1 device. If you click this, you will be able to change certain options, enabling different weather types. You can add different visual effects like the eye adapt, heat haze, motion blur. I'll let you figure these out yourself if you want to try it. And the dark wasteland option, so you can decide how dark it's going to be. So if you don't want it to be too dark, just click level 1. And of course some extra features. Again, I'll let you figure those out. So if you don't like the heat shimmer, you can actually turn it off. Now, of course, the million-dollar question is, which of these weather mods is best? And there's no real answer for that. The dynamic weather I've not really tried out, but that's not for me because I don't like the green tint that the game came with by default. So for me, it's a choice between Fallout and enhanced weather or Project Reality. And the thing is, I've played Fallout and I've played the enhanced weather, and they're great mods, so I can safely recommend them. If you've never played Fallout modded before, they're probably the safest bet. They make the game look a lot better, they add interesting weather, and all round, you can't go wrong. Project Reality, on the other hand, it gives the game a new feeling for me. I've played several times with Fallout and enhanced weather. I've never played with this mod, and I am tempted to try this mod out. It does seem to have some very, very beautiful sunsets, as you can see, and the light effect is very interesting.
How did it come to this, America?
So in the end, I can't really tell you. All I can say to you is, you've got to pick which is best for you. In the end, it's going to come down to personal taste. If you like the green tint that came with the default game, pick dynamic weather. If you preferred a slightly more vibrant colour, the very deep blue sky, pick Fallout. If you want something a little more somber, a little bit sharper and more harsh, pick Project Reality. Anyway, that's about it for this video. I hope it was helpful and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember, click the like button. I always appreciate that. I wish you good luck deciding which weather mod to use, and feel free to join me for part 4 of this series. And until then, have fun.
In my heart I have but one desire, and that one is you. No other will do.